Okay, so he is a former Sac State basketball coach with a ton of stories to tell.
Yes, and now you can read those stories. We're joined this morning by Coach and now author Brian Katz to hear more about his new book coming out. Good morning, Coach. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to talk about the book.
Okay, so last time we talked to you, you were working on it still. I'm curious, because you coached for all these years, but when you go through the process of putting it down on paper, what does that do to your view of your career and the time you spent coaching?
Gives you a great chance to reflect on all the incredible young men you coached. So kind of what I did is I said, I'm going to highlight 13 players over 10 stories. Players that overcame incredible odds to create a better life for themselves and those around them. Great example would be a young man like Jesse Satterfield in Chapter 4. Here's a young man that was given up at birth. His father died when he was 13. And he survived, had 3 gunshots fired at him in Southern California, so he decided, I have to change my life. I'm moving to Stockton. I coached him at Delta College in junior college. He had an incredible learning disability. He overcame that as well, and I'm not trying to ruin this, the 4th chapter here, I don't want to ruin the story. Graduated and has created an unbelievable life for himself, his family, and those around him. So the stories are uplifting and inspiring, and so that was kind of my selection process.
Well, you mentioned this young man, he's Chapter 4. Each chapter is about a different athlete that you coached.
It's actually, there's 8 of them that are about one single person at a time. There's one that is about 2, and actually, matter of fact, they're both from Foothill High School in Sacramento, Chris Walker and Sam Kirby as a tandem. And there's one, my last few years at Sacramento State, there's 3 of them, Eric Studeville, Nick Hornsby, and Travis Jackson. This is a pretty good story. These 3 guys came in as freshmen. This will never happen again, by the way. Came in as freshmen, did not know each other. Were roommates for 4 years, were in each other's weddings, they're best friends, and that won't happen now because of the transfer portal and because of the NIL and all of that. So I call that chapter the 3 dinosaurs. But I had them at Sacramento State.
So when you do this book, you kind of look at the entirety of your career, you think of players you've coached. Obviously, wins and losses are how coaches are measured. But when you look at the big picture, what percentage of all your work are the actual wins and losses, and how much is it developing?
You know what? Here's why, this is just my view. This is why winning matters. Winning matters so that your players can buy in to the philosophy and the values you're trying to teach them about life. So much easier when you're winning. So winning matters, but what matters the most is what the young men take away into their life. And that's why it's amazing, because you'll talk to them now, years later, and they'll say, Coach, at the time I really didn't know what you were doing, but now I get it. I think every coach, and I was very clear in this book to say, look, this is what coaches across the country are aspiring to do. They're trying to uplift and create a better life for those around them.
You mentioned NIL. Since I have you here, I got to ask you, 20 years from now, what does college sports look like?
I'm not sure. I mean, literally, it changes second to second, day to day. It really is. It's changing now. I mean, it's incredible. You know, think of each coach as he's out of the tournament. Who lost yesterday? Duke. They are in the portal right now seeing who's available. First thing they got to do is figure out who's coming back. I mean, that's like a big deal. Like you go
they could be going to another school.
Oh, no question. No question. So it's really become a 24/7, 365 hustle in terms of assembling a roster.
And I know the schools themselves can't pay, but in a way, does it make recruiting easier? Because now it just becomes an offer, like a free agent offer. We can get you X amount of dollars if you come here.
You have a great point. In a lot of ways, the decisions now are based solely on money. It's almost who's paying the most money. So
the living room visits.
I don't love that. I don't love that it's big, because I don't want education devalued. However, makes it a little simpler. Like there was a young man at San Diego State. They went to final game last year. Great kid and a really good player in the whole deal. They lost him to Arizona simply because Arizona could pay big dollars and San Diego State couldn't pay as much.
It's one of those arguments you see both sides.
It's a rough deal.
All right, the book is available on Amazon as well as your website, correct?
You can go to my website, CoachBrianKatz.com, or you can get it on Amazon right now if you choose to.
Excellent. We're going to link all that to our website as well, gooddaysacramento.com, under show info and today's date. Stingers up, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
All right.